What's up guys, Venom RB here, and today we're going to be talking about the new Lamborghinis. This is sort of a part 2 to last week's video talking about the Gallardo that came out. And this is just going to be going over my opinions on these, as now I have more information and I can finally give my general opinion on fake models in DE. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So let's start off with the Revuelto. This is a limited, you have a week to get it, it's like 1.5 million or something. And it's exactly what I'd hoped to see when I heard fake models were coming to Driving Empire and when I was thinking that they might. Obviously, there are some differences. For example, if we stop here, son, doors do not go up. That is a very classic Lamborghini V12 feature. This is the Lamborghini Revuelto. V12 has those doors in real life. It does not have opening doors in the game. The exhaust, it's different, right? Headlights, they're different. But other than that, there are some small changes, like proportions. Like I believe the scoops are slightly different and stuff, but you can't really tell like from a distance that this isn't a Revuelto, right? Or like if you saw this in real life, you would think, oh cool, the new Revuelto. And that's what I like. This model is exactly what all the fake car models should be like. Almost perfect. Some changes, of course, that's necessary, otherwise it'd be a real model. But still very clearly Lamborghini, very clearly, not very clearly, but clearly trying to be what car it is. Like you look at this, it's a Lamborghini, you think Revuelto, there's no doubt about it. So this model is perfect. Now let's talk about the other one. This thing. It's supposed to be, to the best of my knowledge, a pre-LP Gallardo, since we had a Gallardo already in the game, and that's an LP. That's the only logical assumption. It's got the Gallardo interior and everything. So I guess it's a pre-LP Gallardo, but quite honestly, it looks more like a Celica than an actual Gallardo from the front. The side view is alright, except you have these stupid Murcielago like scoops on the side, and then the back is Gallardo in shape, but like it's not Gallardo-y still in the slightest. This is really, I think, an interesting update because it's two very different ends of the spectrum in what I was hoping for and not hoping for. You have the Revuelto, which is like perfection for fake models. And you have this, which is just about as bad as it could be for fake models. This car is disgusting. This looks nothing like a pre-LP Gallardo. It looks, I genuinely mean this, more so like a Celica than it does a Gallardo. So let's talk about this a little more and I'll give my final thoughts on models. So, as I said in the last video, I was not sure on my opinions for fake cars in Driving Empire. And now that we've had 3 fake models, I think I can give my opinions pretty much well because we've seen all 3 parts of how it could be. In my opinion, this is like worst case scenario. This model sucks. Like this, there's no way of getting around it. This car is terrible on so many levels. It doesn't look like a Gallardo, stuff like that, right? And then in the middle you have the LP Gallardo that came last week, in the sense of like, it's not that good, but then the more you see it, it like kind of is like, okay, that's okay, I guess. And then, you know, it still at least stays generally true to its shape, whereas this thing from the front, just not really at all. And then of course you have the Revuelto, which is about as perfect as you're gonna get out of a copyright-free model. So now let's talk about my opinions on copyright-free models again. If they all looked somewhere between Revuelto quality and LP Gallardo quality, the Gallardo that came last week, just gonna keep saying that so we don't have any, so nobody gets confused, that would be fine. If the cars look this good, or like between this and last week's Gallardo, that's fine. I think that's a very good idea then to start adding fake models, because I'm pretty sure most players would be perfectly fine with this type of car. It looks good. It's very Lamborghini. The inside is still very Lamborghini. You know, you see this, you think Lamborghini, right? If the models are gonna look like this car, I personally think it would be better off to just keep losing cars and not add anything else. I cannot exactly see many players thinking this is a cool car, and I don't see this getting actually that many sales at all in the dealership, except by people who don't know what the original looks like, because this thing is just bad on so many levels. Not only is like the model itself just kind of it just doesn't even have remotely the design of a Lamborghini. Whereas you look at like last week's Lamborghini Gallardo, which we're going to compare a lot because they're both supposed to be the same general car, and yet they look so different. It's so weird. Whereas you look at last week's Gallardo, where it's like, yeah, it looks kind of weird, but you can at least see the Gallardo in it. And this car, you can still see the Gallardo in it, like from the side if you cut those stupid scoops off and whatnot. But it just is a very, very, very poor representation of Lamborghini. So in conclusion, my final opinion on fake cars in DE, car models, Chinese Lamborghinis. The last one was the China sweatshop, or the Veloce sweatshop. This can be like, I don't know, the Veloce Beijing or something. I think that's an appropriate name. My final opinion on the car models are, if they look like the Revuelto, I'm all in. I think it's great that we have this car in DE. I didn't expect to get this car, and it looks very good, right? I think this is great. I think if we're going to have the Gallardo that came this week, that's a problem. And if we're going to have car models that were like last week's Gallardo, it's still not great, but I can live with it. That's my final thoughts. So, Voldex, please make models that look like this, not models that look like this. That's going to do it for the video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next one. Venom out.